Going on? Welcome to the Hat Trick Podcast. I'm Keanu.
I'm Josh.
Derek couldn't be here, who you might see from the first podcast, but all we're gonna do is
We do have another black guy, but he
Yes.
doesn't want to be in the podcast.
he probably couldn't fit in this camera. We're very, very, very slow starting right now, but what we're gonna do really is just do a fight recap. This weekend is going to be Kevin Lee versus Al Iaquinta, the rematch. And actually, interesting story, we suck at watching fights, and this fight was probably like 2 years ago, and we've never seen it. Which is crazy because I'm actually like a big Kevin Lee fan now, even though
I am too. I like both guys.
I still haven't really seen much of them. But we definitely know that they both need to go back into the title picture. This rematch this weekend will do it. So we're just gonna kind of talk some shit and see how this fight goes. We're just starting it from the beginning. The compliments of what you can't see, because we don't have enough technology for that, is the YouTube UFC channel. Usually they have that little screen right here somewhere where you can see what we're seeing, but we're not doing that. That's way out of our pay grade. Okay. We're borderline Section 8 housing.
Oh my god. Section 8 podcasting.
If only that wasn't copyrighted.
Oh my god.
We're called the Hat Trick Podcast, and we talk about like UFC and football. People are like, "Where's the soccer?" We haven't talked about David Beckham once. We just did. So you're welcome.
And it's beautiful.
All of England and Argentina.
This is pre-Reebok.
Wow.
This might be longer than 2 years ago.
Yeah. So I'm very sorry for those who tuned in since the very beginning. We are way off on this. Man, as you can tell, we do a lot of these things from the fly. We're not really we're not experts.
Yeah, I tried to ditch. Again. My butthole is exploding.
Speaking of things exploding, Van Zant and however you say her last name.
The Hawaiian chick? Yeah,
Ostrich. They can get it, doesn't matter to me.
Dude.
Like, something is going to be blasting off.
No homo, but I would totally circle jerk watching that fight.
Start a circle jerk? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it. See, I can tell even from the beginning right now, I feel like Kevin is way more confident in his striking.
I guess this was the first fight that this is the first fight on his UFC contract. So before then, he talked about it on Ariel Wani's show that he like was just fighting in like local pubs and stuff, and Iaquinta was like the first actual pro athlete that he's ever fought.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he rocked him already with a jab.
Yeah.
Overhand right.
Yeah. Al Iaquinta's got him.
Man, he's tagging him.
Man. Jeez. Good combination, but Al's got to stop swinging wild like that.
Yeah, I know.
Especially the way he is now. For that rematch, it's not going to be... I don't think it's going to be very good if he gets into a non-tactical brawl.
Yeah, I don't either. Something that's pretty crazy is Kevin Lee has had 12 fights since this fight. Al has had 6.
God, just twice as active.
Just because of the setbacks, and remember he had that bad knee surgery.
Yeah.
A little bit ago. But I mean, his last fight, he wasn't finished by Khabib, and that he accepted on 2 days' notice.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Which even then, I feel like they're really rounding up because the UFC's very prompt on when they make fights official, and I honestly feel like it was sometime late at night, just before the weigh-ins, where Dana just asked Al, was just like, "Hey man, can I get a favor from you?"
Yeah, no problem.
I didn't realize Kevin had this good of a chin so early. You know, I thought this was something that was built up.
I know.
But those were some hard shots.
It's crazy. He dropped for a knee bar.
Al, Yeah, Al dropped for the knee bar.
Yeah, I guess we got to say. Like, Herb Dean actually dropped for a knee bar.
Yeah.
If you didn't know.
Yeah. See, and Kevin's so rangy. That's something I like about him. I think that's what draws me towards him, is like, even though he's known for his groundwork and everything like that, he knows how to use his reach. Joe Lozon, I don't think, ever really knew how to fully utilize his reach. A lot of his jabs and rights were very bent at the elbows.
Mm-hmm. Stefan Struve, I think, is the worst example of
He
knowing how to use his range.
He is the worst. Okay, Stefan, if we ever get to that level where you're watching this, change my mind. Okay? With my cup of tea, change my mind. You need to work on that range. You could be one of the most dominant heavyweights if you just knew how to use your reach and your power. Or your submissions. Like, it's about angles in your limbs, and I'm as tall as your kneecap.
What we're saying is just do better.
Yeah, just
do better.
Just be better tomorrow, man. I don't know what you're doing tomorrow. Just be better at whatever you're doing tomorrow. I love how we just kind of... Oh, good knee by Kevin. Good way to disengage the clinch like that.
Kevin looks a lot smaller back then, too. So does Al.
Yeah. I think muscle density comes with time, though.
And age, you think?
Yeah, time and age. Because, I mean, you know, there is such a thing as old man strength. Look at Randy Couture. You know, he was, you know, practically manhandling Tim Sylvia, and he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that comes.
What else he was manhandling? That cock. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but go to Pornhub. If this is your thing.
Yeah, if that's what you're into, go ahead.
Randy Couture has a sex tape that was just released.
I feel like you can only call it a sex tape if other people were in it.
He showed his butthole to the camera.
Yeah.
Not saying that's hey, to each his own, but
yeah, that could be your thing, could not be. But I mean, I was gonna go the Michael Bisping route. I was gonna, you know, not necessarily bring that up, or bring that up when his name's not around. But I mean, welcome to the hat trick. Or I guess we just don't care anymore.
Now, was he a lot more ripped than we are? Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Is he 68 years old? Probably.
I feel like
Is my penis bigger than his? Definitely.
For all you ladies out there, that'll be the next one.
Young Stallion.
That's your Josh Baby Arm Witt. I'm married, so you'll never hear me talk about mine. That's okay.
I wouldn't talk about it either.
Keep your secrets.
So first round's done.
Yeah, second round's about to start. Nothing crazily impressive. Not to sound trollish, but I feel like they're just way better now. If I had to go for it, Al definitely won the first, just because, I mean, he dropped him. He went for a submission that looked like it wasn't too bad. It was pretty deep. I mean, nothing for Kevin to freak out over. But I think if Kevin had one or two fights less experience, he probably would have panicked a little bit. Kevin started to come back. I just personally don't think it was enough. But wow, okay, yeah, Kevin's coming in a little hot this time. Head kicks.
His hands are really low still. I was pumping out that jab pretty successfully.
It's crazy. I think they almost switched in confidence. You know, Al's kind of, I feel like in the Khabib fight, he was a little slow, a little timid. Could have been just because of the short notice.
Nice shot.
Didn't know how to handle it. But I think Kevin kind of goes, you know, kind of runs at you like a fucking Neanderthal now.
Yeah.
Like a...
His hook's in. Oh, it looks deep.
Ooh, rear naked. Kevin's got it pretty. Oh, Kevin Lee's got it in so tight.
Dude, how does he not tap to this?
It's because he's a New Yorker. Shout out to Brooklyn, New York. That's where my dad's from.
Dude, it's so tight.
God, look at. Ooh, and he's. Look at that, and Al's even. His face is going purple.
How the heck did he get out of this?
The arm triangle's in, or the arm triangle.
Dude,
the body
it's under
triangle's
his.
in. It's under. Oh, but he's 2-1. He's doing half of the right thing. Al's doing 2-1 on Kevin's arm,
And it's over.
releasing
It's
that
out.
pressure. He's out of that. What would have made him go out a little easier is if he turned towards the ankle that is locking the leg. A lot of fighters don't really do that. You know what I mean? Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because
Now-
I mean, I get that information from, the commentators and stuff, but they also train in jiu-jitsu, and I feel like if enough people say that, it should be a fighter's number one thing. I feel like they've said it so much, it's almost jiu-jitsu 101 to break that, to go 2-1 on a rear naked and to go towards the ankle.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not a professional. I am very much an amateur fighter. Okay, see, now this is the proper routine. He's back in the rear naked. It's not as deep. It's really over the chin more than anything. Al's 2-1, putting all his weight towards that knee, really putting pressure on it to make Kevin try to let go. And I think he's about to turn it. He's about to turn.
Yeah. I want to say if the second fight becomes a dog fight, kind of like this, then Al could just slip into another victory.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Kevin's not a dog or doesn't have the dog in him, but as far as like, I don't know, just like that grit that Al brings.
That New Yorker grit, man. It's just fucking insane. Really, that whole New England area. Frankie Edgar, chin of an animal.
Eddie Alvarez.
I don't remember Matt Serra really getting hurt ever, except for the Shoney Carter fight.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the GSP fight, it was just so much of the body, so much wrestling. Not a lot of people could handle GSP back then.
Interesting fun fact is Kevin Lee's coach, Robert Fallis, he
old.
passed away last year, I want to say. You know about that?
Mm-hmm.
So he had to completely switch camps. His first fight without Robert was the Barbosa fight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he looked great though. I mean,
Yeah, he definitely did him proud. But
Definitely
actually, how do you even really feel about that? Like, I see a lot of people switching camps, given Kevin Lee's circumstance is completely different, but I see a lot of people leaving camps and doing better or worse. But do you think it's more of, God, look at the ground strikes landed, it's completely different, 3-16 for Lee, and there's only 30 seconds left of the fight.
this round is completely Kevin's.
Yeah. But
So it's 1-1, I guess.
But a lot of people will switch camps and stuff like that. And I mean, do you have a reasoning behind it?
I mean, sometimes I just think that you need higher level sparring partners. I don't necessarily think that it's anything to do with the coaches sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that, for instance, Barbosa, he fights this Saturday as well. He fights Dan Hooker. And Barbosa just recently switched. He left Mark Henry and went back to American Top Team.
Really?
I think, like I said, a lot of it. Oh, Kevin's
limping a bit. That's the leg he was using for the body lock. So
do you think it was a limp, or do you think he's just a little tired?
It looked more like a limp. He's, you can kind of tell on his back during this rest period. He's not breathing too heavy. Enough for someone who fought 2 rounds, but I don't think he's exhausted. I think it was just so much of Al being on that ankle, and I mean Kevin didn't give it up. He didn't give it up at all. I don't think he let go until the last 3 seconds of the fight.
So would you say 1-1 going into the third?
Definitely 1-1. Al dropped Kevin real good in the first.
Twice, right?
Twice, yeah.
Job.
Those barrages were good. Kevin had his back literally, I think, 4 of those minutes.
This is before the unified rules changed as well. So do you think with the new rules, that second round, do you think that could have been a 10-8?
Oh, Al got him again. And no, I think even with the unified rules and everything, it's so hard to get a 10-8. You know, championship fights and main events get it more. But I don't even know the reason behind that. I would just be blowing smoke up your ass if I gave you a reason. But maybe more excitement. Maybe I don't know what the judges do for 10-8s, but I mean,
caught him with the uppercut.
You know, I think it's very hard to get a 10-8 still. You know, because none of that was dominating. You know what I mean? Like, it was dominating to us because we understand jiu-jitsu. But a jiu-jitsu domination is way different than a Khabib just on top of you, talking to you, asking the judges to give you a 10-8.
Oh, he dropped for it again.
What is up with Al in this fight? I know. Is he a submission guy?
No, not really.
I don't feel like. Well, I mean, he's with
Matt Serra and stuff, but he's more of a wrestler and brawler, I would say.
I don't know. Maybe he's just utilizing it. I think maybe, and maybe in the next podcast we'll talk about it. Maybe, but maybe we should do some research because you know, UFC fighters get the privilege of, whether it's your UFC debut or not, you get a pretty good history. It's pretty easy to find, you know, a fighter's past fights and things. And I wonder if Kevin was just kind of known for striking and stuff like that, and Al thought maybe he had an advantage.
Yeah, perhaps. Kevin's a D1 wrestler, though. I don't know if you know this, but he actually was teammates with Tony
Ferguson. Really?
I forgot what college.
I guess that would explain why it's such a good fight. Because old habits die hard. I don't care what anyone says. If you fought or if you wrestled in high school, you know, when I was in high school it was 2010. If I was wrestling with you and we didn't see each other for 8 years and we went at it, I feel like we would still know some of our techniques and go-tos and stuff. I feel like it's really hard to break that habit.
Yeah. Al also was a wrestler. I don't know to what level, but I want to say he was a college wrestler as well. I want to say he was.
Yeah, maybe JUCO or maybe D2.
I think so. Maybe JUCO. Which, I mean, if you're a JUCO champion, you're still one of the baddest men on the planet. Like, John Jones was a JUCO champion.
Yeah. Or if your name is George with a silent S. You don't even have to wrestle in school. You can wrestle your conscience or something. But that's pretty much it. That's how it is. I think Canadians are just really good wrestlers because when, you know,
Rory McDonald and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when I was competing, I wrestled 2 weeks in high school, and whenever I got to actually competing and training out of my garage, people thought that I was a wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, my coaches were telling other coaches, yeah, this guy's a wrestler. And I'm just like, what? Wrestle around with my wife. I thought I got twins, but that's really all the wrestling I've gotten. So, update on the fight. Real slow start and real starchy. Pretty much, Al went for the knee bar again. Kevin got up. It's been pretty much a stalemate. Couple jabs, couple rights.
Kevin keeps shooting way out of his distance. Like, he's shooting from...
Yeah, and no hit movement. He's bending at the back, it looks like.
When you go for takedowns, like, you always want to be lower than the person. Like, as far as, like, your hips, you want to be lower than their hips.
Yeah. And we are watching this from a distance, so, you know, my eyes are terrible. If I'm saying the wrong thing, then please just let me know. Oh, good hands. Good hand work there by Al.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that both of them's changed so much, but in my opinion, I think Kevin has grown a lot more.
Yeah, well, I think Kevin has had the opportunity to grow more.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, 6 fights since then to 12. Literally twice as many fights. That's insane.
And man, he's catching him every time, though.
Man, Al's really Yeah,
Every time
Al's
Kevin
giving it
throws.
to him and putting in. Yeah, and he. I think that was more or less Al's round. To be honest, I think Al won 1 and 3. Kevin, Kevin, if you watch this, I apologize if I ever, recorded or not, said anything doubtful about you, because the potential is definitely there. Because Al Quinta was quite the workhorse back then. If I
Yeah.
remember correctly, he was pretty active. That was that would have been a tough fight for anyone.
Yeah, he
And
was
if you
pretty
just,
active back then. You
yeah,
can see on his face that he knew he lost, though.
yeah.
He seems a little broken.
Do you think that applies with judges the same as it does with amateurs? I can't tell you how many times people judge amateur fights, and if someone looks like they lost, they'll make them lose.
I mean, I don't know. I would like to think that the judges are smarter than that, but we both know that MMA judges are ridiculous.
Yeah,
So,
they're borderline becoming boxing judges at this point.
unanimous decision
Shout
wasn't a
out
split
to
or anything.
shout out to all the judges for the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight. Fuck you. Yeah, and that was it. Al Quinta won by decision. And again, this was the first time we knew about the fight. I don't know if you knew the result, but I honestly didn't, or at least I don't remember anyone telling me.
Yeah, I knew about the result, but it's good to see
Yeah,
it again.
but
For sure.
But yeah, our reaction. I don't know. This isn't a reaction video. What did I say it was? A fight recap.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Fight recap. Feel like it was successful. We're trying to do this full time, and if we could barely talk about anything, kind of shows you it's not like it's going to be on your top 10 greatest fights of all time. But definitely good. It's definitely making it interesting, just because I honestly like doing stuff like that. Kind of the first meeting compared to the rematch, as long as it's a long ways away.
Yeah.
If Khabib and McGregor fight each other again in the next year, I'm not gonna talk about it. I'll talk about the brawl, because let's be real, everyone wants to hear about the brawl. But that's it. But
Talk about Connor tapping to a neck crank.
which actually I don't give him too much crap for, because let's be honest, like, do you really think your neck is used to trying to be torn from your body?
Probably not.
And I think a lot of Twitter warriors out there, like keyboard warriors, they'll tell you like, oh, I wanted to tap this, that, whatever. All right, let me tell you a little something, okay? If I try to pop your finger like a chiropractor, you would probably cry. Mainly because I'm doing it wrong. But still, like, you'd be surprised what pain you can take and what pain you can't. I can get hit in the head all day, every day. But if I get a paper cut on my finger, I'm going to die. I'm going to write my will. I'm going to send it off. I'm going to hug and kiss my kids, tell them that I love them, and I'm going to die. Heart attack. From a paper cut. So
Dear
it's
God.
all about how you can handle different pains and stuff.
All right, so we're gonna do a prediction show in a few minutes.
Yep.
But this was the recap of the first Kevin Lee and Al Quinta fight this Saturday. They'll be fighting again. There's a lot of fights though this Saturday, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But yeah, our next recap video will be Randy Couture's sex tape, so stay tuned.
Yeah, maybe we'll even have a little video thing for you. Who knows?
Only if you want to see it.
Yeah, $20 PayPal. Or just go on Pornhub and watch it yourself. All right, but anyway, this is the Hat Trick. Thanks for watching. Tune in.